Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have one of the most ridiculous shows that we produce in quite some time. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I don't even know where to begin with this topic. All right. I don't even know where to even start with this topic. As you guys know, the number one story right now in sports is the scandal that's taking place at Fox Sports FS1 ever since this 42-page lawsuit was filed after Front Office Sports broke the story about the crazy, salacious activities that were taking place at FS1 over the years, right? The lawsuit revealed a lot, named people like Skip Bayless, Charlie Dixon, and Joy Taylor. We covered it. We went live about it. And ever since then, people that were close to the situation have reacted to it. I think the people that have done the best job covering it so far have been Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley, because this thing could have potentially been could have affected them. So they've done a fantastic job doing that. But with this story, we all knew that people eventually going to react to it. We did, others did. And one of the people that decided to jump out there and give his thoughts on it was Stephen A. Smith. Initially, on the Stephen A. Smith show, he discussed some of the things that were said about his former debate partner, Skip Bayless, where he essentially said that that's not the Skip Bayless he knows. He finds it very, very hard to believe that these things could have been true about Skip Bayless. So he said that. And then yesterday I was on the internet and I saw he had another show, and he had some of the headlines where he's like more on Joy Taylor or something like that, Charles Barkley and JJ Redick, and then some other things. So I then decided to click on this show to hear what he had to say. Now, before clicking on the show, knowing Stephen A. Smith the way that I do, I already knew that he was going to say something that was going to piss me off, that I was 100% sure of. So I click on the show, and within the first 10 to 20 seconds, he's already going off on people for the things that they were saying about Joy Taylor. I then decided to listen to about 10 to 15 minutes worth of it, and I was like, I'm cutting this off, and I'm going to do a show to react to some of the stuff that he said. But what he said was so bad, okay? It was so bad that even his own followers, his own viewers, were turning on him in the comment section. But before we even get into what Stephen A. Smith had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. With the year almost over, I am super excited about creating memories with family and friends by attending various plays, theater shows, and sporting events. And when it comes time to look for tickets, Game Time is my go-to. Game Time is one of the most reliable marketplaces for last-minute tickets to the most popular events in sports, music, and theater in more than 60 cities across the United States and Canada. Game Time saves me money, time, and stress. It finds the best deals and guarantees that the tickets are legit, and it makes sure that the tickets are delivered to me on time. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It cuts through the fluff and shows you the best deals on great seats near you so you don't waste time searching. For example, I'm really looking forward to this upcoming game between the Lakers and the Clippers. Here's what I like to do. First, I select an all-in price to see the total ticket price up front, so I'm not surprised by the additional fees at checkout. Next, I click on Game Time Picks to check out their curated deals. And finally, I pick the ticket I want. I choose the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is I want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and then we're going to come back and really get into this thing here. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say to people out there. Take a listen to that.
You know, there's a lot of things that's been going on in the sports world today that's been invading the news, invading the headlines and the digital stratosphere, especially as it pertains to what's transpiring at Fox Sports. And here's the one conclusion that I deduce from all of this. There's a lot of people out there that just ain't worth. I'll explain. Stephen A. Smith Show in the house. Let's roll. There's been a lot of reaction to this story all over social media. Has it been about Charlie Dixon? Not that much. Has it even been about Skip Bayless? Not that much at all. Has it been about Fox Sports overall? Really, not that much at all. It's all significantly paled in comparison to the level of vitriol, venom, insults, and beyond aimed at one Miss Joy Taylor. And that's why I want to bring on my next guest. I shouldn't call her a guest. She's a journalist. She's a former news anchor in Atlanta. She's a personal good friend of mine, and she's a damn good friend of the show over the last few days. And I'm talking about the one and only Tori Cooper. She's back here with yours truly right now. Tori, how are you? How's everything going?
I'm doing well. How are you, Steven?
Listen, I had to bring you back because I wanted to get your thoughts on what I just brought up about Joy Taylor. And as you've watched all of this unfold, I know you, like myself, we've read the 42-page, allegations, rife with allegations against Joy Taylor, against Charlie Dixon, against Skip Bayless. Specifically pertaining to Joy Taylor, I want to know what your thoughts are about all the heat that she's been taking over the last few days.
Why is such a focus on Joy Taylor? First of all, she's not being accused of sexual battery. She's not being accused of sexual harassment. She's being accused of engaging in sexual behavior to earn her spot that she has on Fox Sports. Now, the problem I have with this, Stephen, is this continues to be the issue in this industry, is when a man gets there, in any industry really, when a man gets there, he earned it. When a woman gets there, she slept her way to the top somehow. And so that's issue number one. Issue number two is that we're just going to completely negate her experience and the fact that she is more than qualified to be in this role. And if you just read this lawsuit at face value, and this is my problem with these lawsuits, is people just take it as fact. These are allegations at the end of the day. And when you look at this lawsuit and you comb through it at face value, they paint her as a bartender who had little experience, who was had experience in radio and was not qualified for Fox Sports, and she was working as a fill-in anchor and a bartender at the same time. I've worked 2 jobs to get into this industry. I worked behind the scenes first. So we don't earn these spots lightly. And that's where I get really frustrated with people on social media who are trying to come for this woman's experience.
But let me tell you why I wanted you on here, Tori, because I have to admit, I'm pretty pissed off. Now, there's a few people's names I'm not going to mention because, damn it, they ain't worth it, okay? And I get that. But there's a few men out there that are acting like, this is the perfect excuse to justify why we make the argument that women don't belong in the industry, which is an incredibly egregious thing to say, okay? They'll look at any woman sitting in a host chair or any woman that's a reporter out there or any woman that has to walk into the locker room, and all of a sudden their credibility is being questioned. My thing, what I'm more appalled at by, rather, even that, is the women all over social media that are allowing it to happen. And that's why I wanted you on the show today, because I said, I'm not going to speak about it just from the male perspective. I'm going to have a female in front of me that I can bounce this off of to check me in case I'm wrong about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't spend a lot of time looking all over social media, but I'm looking at an abundance of women, and I'm saying the allegations. I understand what the allegations are. The allegations of Joy Taylor slept with Charlie Dixon and and she did it while she was married. And first of all, the marriage part is her business. It's nobody else's. The boss situation obviously is dicey. Make no mistake about it. You got a girl that was supposed to be a best friend that's supposedly diming her out right now. That's incredibly unfortunate. But one could easily argue it's really not about your guilt or innocence. It's about how guilty I make you look, forcing you to capitulate to the demands that I'm making civilly. We can get into that a little bit later. But what I find most egregious, Tori, is the abundance of women out there who are laughing, who are pointing the finger at Joy Taylor with a profound level of guilt as if they know. Even when they throw in the word allegedly, they do it with smirks on their face, sort of dismissive, because in this business, we know how to speak with our body language, not just with words. And not only that, They're using it as an excuse to question her credibility.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I want to quickly read over some of the comments from his viewers, okay, because they went off on him. One viewer said, the lady killed her argument in the first minute of talking, saying that when a woman gets successful, they have to be sleeping the way to the top. That's exactly what Joy is accused of. Another person said, the reason Joy is being attacked is because she said if any trouble comes her way, she would falsely accuse the man she was using to get promoted of forcing himself on her as cover. Another person said, did they just gloss over that in the lawsuit, it alleges that Joy was willing to claim sexual harassment over once the guy was no longer useful, when she was a willing participant? Another person said, if this was a man, he'd be suspended immediately. She was on TV the next day. Another person said, this pandering is disgusting. Another person said, these are his viewers, Stephen A. putting on his cape for Joy Taylor. Another person said, if she doesn't come out with a defamation lawsuit, it's all true. Another person said, Joy cheated on 2 husbands, got people fired, and then said she would claim, you know what, if she had to. Y'all tripping. Tory just running her mouth. Another person said, Stephen A. Smith upset and defending Joy only because Jason Whitlock said Joy got big, you know what, and peanut butter skin. And then one final person says, Stephen A. Smith, stop it. Joy does not get a pass just because she's a woman. She was going to set up her ex-boss and me to him after he was of no use to her. Those are his viewers on his channel. Not my viewers, not Jason Whitlock's viewers, not whoever else's viewers. That's his viewers. His guest said that why are people trying to come at Joy Taylor's experience and call out her lack of experience? It's not people that called it out. It's the lawsuit that called it out. It wasn't people. It was the lawsuit. People are reacting to what was alleged in the lawsuit. That's what happened there. Now, here's the part that annoys me personally. Stephen A. Smith is sitting up there talking about people saying things, and he's up there complaining about the things that are being said about Joy Taylor. But people are doing the exact same thing to Skip Bayless. You mean to tell me Stephen A. Smith isn't aware of the fact that people are running all over the internet talking about, screaming, it's my turn? It's my turn. He didn't see the clip when even Shannon Sharp himself made jest of the situation with Chad Johnson when they were having a back and forth on their show. And he goes, it's my turn. It's my turn. He didn't see all the videos of creators and all these other people making videos, making fun of Skip. He didn't see that. He didn't see that. All he saw was what people were saying about Joy Taylor. And I got to be honest with you guys. A lot of this, of what he just said and what I just saw, just seems so disingenuous to me. It just seems so disingenuous. And a lot of it just comes across to me as somebody looking to pander. None of what I just heard seemed genuine to me. None of it. It feels like Stephen A. Smith contrived his emotions and got himself riled up over this situation because he feels like a particular segment of people would want that type of reaction from somebody. And so therefore he decided to play that role. None of what he said seemed genuine to me. None of it. None of what his guest argument in terms of what she said seemed coherent at all. Just a bunch of babble and mumbo jumbo. Talking about people that pointed out, talking about her lack of it. The lawsuit said that. This is what the lawsuit alleges. Prior to this lawsuit, most people didn't even know much about Joy Taylor's history. Why would we know? Why would that be public info? Nobody knew this. Did you also miss the fact when you're talking about if a woman gets a position of power, where she said if he tried to do this, he'll meet? Did you miss that? It almost seems as if they talked about, oh, we read the lawsuit, but you didn't even refer to anything in the lawsuit. You're just referring to your feelings and emotions. None of this seemed genuine to me. None of it. It just seemed to me that, Stephen A. Smith decided, I'm going to be here to defend women. And then you do these things and risk seeming insincere. That's one of the reasons a lot of people have issues with his political views, because he's like playing on both sides of the fence. And when you do that, people on the right think you're being insincere, because on the one hand, you say something positive, and then the next hand, you say something negative, and on the left, you do the same. It's like, pick a side here. But to try to play this role of scolding people look, he's referring to Jason Whitlock. All right. Would I have said the things that Jason Whitlock said about the peanut butter skin and the cans and all of that stuff? No, I wouldn't have said that. But here's the fundamental difference. I'm not Jason Whitlock. That's his brand of coverage, and that's what he does. That's what makes him who he is. All right. And the irony in all of this is that Stephen A. Smith is going after Jason Whitlock. And I'm not up here trying to defend you or nothing like that. I'm just saying you're going over the way he covers news and information when you have been called out on many different occasions by athletes and other people for the way that you cover news. So why is your way the correct way and his way the wrong way? These are the incongruities that exist with Stephen A. Smith's point of view. And to sit here and try to scold people and I'm disgusted by it and I'm disgusted by you only disgusted by it because you found a moment to pander to women, and therefore you're doing so. Because they're doing the exact same thing to Skip Bayless. But you would not know that. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that. All you know of is, they said this and Jason Whitlock said that and that person said this. So therefore I got to put on my case and I got to bring a woman on the stage to now show that I'm like, come on, stop with it. It just seems so insincere. Nothing of what I heard seemed genuine to me. None of it seemed genuine. And maybe this is the reason why Stephen A. Smith wants to run for office, because he already got it down pat. Just sit up there and lie and just contrive fake emotions and act like you pissed off when you ain't really pissed off. You will do well in politics with that type of behavior and those type of proclivities. You would. I'm sorry. There are issues where Stephen A. Smith has said things, I defend him, but this one just seems so fake to me. It doesn't seem sincere. Why are you litigating the way Jason Whitlock speaks when you yourself have been criticized for the way you cover sport? Not like just by athletes themselves. What was the last time we heard from Kevin Durant? What did he say about you? So then what makes you feel like you have the right to chastise him? Was the way that Jason Whitlock, is that a way that I would cover? Of course not, but I'm not Jason Whitlock. I'm not. And that's what works for him. But for you to sit up here and then bring this guest on your show talking about people are trying to say that she has no experience. Like, no, the lawsuit alleged that. Not people, the lawsuit. And then for you to bring the nasty things that are being said about, what about the nasty things about being said about Skip Bayless? You didn't mention that stuff. You didn't hear about all the stuff that's being said about Skip now, did you? It just reeks of insincerity and posturing. None of that seemed genuine to me. None of it. And there are times when I go to bat for Stephen, where I defend him, especially with that stuff with Caitlin Clark. And I defended him fervorously. Like with a lot of fervor, I defended him. But this one, none of it. And this thing of talking, like, come on, stop. All right? Nobody's perfect. Nobody has it all figured out. We all have shortcomings in the way that we do things, the way that we see things, the way that we say things. But to go around and start chastising people and getting into this whole thing about why they turning on women and then to have this person try to make it, now you're trying to turn the thing into a sympathy party. And the question is why? Why? Who sent you to do all of this? Who sent you to do it? You weren't even there, but you're now ready to defend. Like, come on, stop with. And let me finally say that, what if it turns out that those things that they were saying about her is true? What about all the people like Marcellus Wiley and others that may have been done wrong and treated unfairly because they weren't willing to sit up there and do unsavory things? What about them? Like, it's I don't even understand it. You're not even focusing on the victims here. You're just focusing on this thing. Oh, let me get this lady up here, and then we're gonna pander, and I'm gonna cuss people out and say this, and these people ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth nothing. Jason Whitlock may not be worth nothing to you. He may not be worth nothing to your audience or the next person, but he's worth something to somebody because apparently you've seen him. He must be worth something to somebody. And I'm not here to defend Jason Whitlock. There are times that I disagree with him, but we got to call a spade here. Like, let's keep it funky. Let's stop with the nonsense. Let's stop with the virtue signaling. Let's stop acting sanctimonious and acting like we're holier than thou. It's a turnoff. Like, let's just stop. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.